You're not
All
even
right.
in the frame.
Good evening, and let me please take a moment to put myself in the frame. Thank you, my love. So, hello, good evening once again. We are, yep. I'm Ian, this is my lovely wife.
Rachel.
Hi. We are Ian and Rachel of Big Family Life in the Simpson Family Home, and 4Fs with the Simpson family. The 4Fs representing faith, family, food, and fitness, because we believe that we can do all things. Faith, because we believe we can do all things through Him who loves us. Family, because aside from God, there's nothing in this world more important. Food, because food is medicine. And fitness, because we believe again that balance can be attained and achieved through a strong mind, soul, and body. So this evening's this is a segment that we like to talk real talk. We like to call, real talk, where we tackle some more challenging issues. And a little bit of background on us: we are a family of 10, a blended family of 10, and so there are some very unique challenges that are associated with being a family, with being a large family, and. As an act of service, we'd like to just kind of share of ourselves with anyone who cares to listen, in hopes that anything that we might have to say can offer some form of encouragement, some form of uplifting, some form of advice, encouragement.
And also to give us advice. I'd
Yeah.
like to see that. However, I'm not even sure about the, as we're recording, if we're able to see some of the communication. We see some of it afterwards, right?
No. We do
Oh, we do?
see. We
Oh,
can see the communications as they occur real time.
Okay, I don't see them. He does.
Yeah.
We'll make that clear. He does. I don't.
Probably because there's not all that much to see.
Okay. I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. And as such, tonight's topic is on Real Talk in the Simpson Family Home. Tonight's topic is you are not alone. You are not alone. Quite simply, we cannot overstate, restate that enough. That you are not alone. And I think that what happens is that life's challenges, especially in the time that we find ourselves in right now, it's a very challenging and trying time. And so life's challenges can often make us want to isolate. Life's challenges can often make us want to escape, go into ourselves, and just kind of, we can sometimes get the feeling that we're all alone in a world full of people, right? And that is a very dangerous place for us to be in, because then that's where doubt can creep in, depression, anxiety, all forms of trauma, addiction, all forms of trauma, when we begin to feel that we are all alone in this world, and quite simply that no one understands our issues. Good evening, Tony. We are very well, thank you. How are you this evening? And so the idea is that we're absolutely not alone in this. First and foremost, we have our God. First and foremost, we have our God. And it is so very important that we we have to battle those feelings of being alone and wanting to just stay within ourselves and wanting to isolate. And it's not, there's no shame associated with that. There is no indignity. There is no, sometimes, and
well,
that...
no,
please.
even because some of our children, at least 2 of them are introverts, so they love to spend time alone.
Yeah, Justice and Ryder.
And Jasmine.
That's 3.
That's 3.
That's 3.
And so it's just finding that balance. So it's like, yeah, you have your quiet time, to just decompress, or depending on your day. However, there's also to find balance, especially when you have a large home full of children. So it's just time to socialize, and then there's time to just, hey, I'm gonna go do something by myself, which he loves to paint. One likes to paint, one likes to play with Lego, and one likes to read. So they have their outlets.
And absolutely, Tony, it's we do have to push through and find that strength. Having said that, I'm glad you used the word push, because capital P, capital U, capital S, capital H is an acronym I often like to use, and what it stands for is to pray until something happens. And I mean, that's a good place to start. That's a good place to start. Pray until something happens. However, with prayer, there's also the work that has to go into that, right? I won't sit here and say that all that is required is that we just have to pray and God answers prayers. Yes, absolutely, unequivocally, God answers prayers. However, there's an amount of work that is required on our part.
And then sometimes what we pray for is not really meant for us. He has something in store
Better. Fact. Right? So with the Yes, sir. Thank you, Tony, for sharing that with us. Absolutely. Congratulations on being 90 years young. That is wow. Hats off to you, sir. So I mean, I would there is a cautionary note there, I think, with isolating. And isolation is a funny thing, because I mean it can be addicting, right? It can be addicting. So it's important that we continue to maintain contact with loved ones. It's important that we continue, even if hey, we are living in some pretty amazing times, right? Because honestly, I'm a big fan of technology, because only insofar as like anything else, it's a tool, right? I see a great many things in this world. I view them as they're meant to be viewed, simply just as there are tools, and they are meant to be used to enhance and to make our lives better, right? So as a tool, I think that technology is absolutely wonderful. I don't believe it is the end all and be all of all existence. However, as a tool, it is wonderful. So I mean, again, for instance, look at us here now, sitting in the comfort of our own, speaking with people in the comfort of their home, right? In real time in some cases, or recorded, and you know what I mean? So I mean, even though we are faced with the challenges of being in lockdown and things like that, we still, have the wonderful advances with technology that enable us to, at the very least, if we can't hold our loved ones, we can at the very least see them and converse with them. And that is very, very, very important. And that is a big plus, I believe, of living in this era that we live in. That and the amount of information that people have access to if they choose to avail themselves of it.
Yeah. No, and I'm with you with that. I guess the only the downside is the physical touch, because as humans we require so much physical touch during the day, just to maintain those, I can't remember what it is called, cortisol levels. It's just that happiness, or the just for your own well-being.
Right.
I just, don't quote me on that. It's just, it popped into my head.
Right.
So it's I guess that's what's only missing. Technology doesn't offer you that. However, by speaking with other people and just reaching out to your friends, reaching out to your siblings, whoever you're closest to, and just having those conversations.
And I mean, let us just encourage you to pick up the phone, because some of us are, we're receiving phone calls, and people and loved ones and dear friends are concerned because they haven't heard from us, or they're just checking in, and isolation will make you want to not pick up the phone.
I'm that right. I am. I am.
However, I mean, I mean, I was just about to say it's kind of hard for us to isolate in a home with so many people, except it's not. It's not. I mean, it's just really interesting in what we have going on here in our home, in that you can always find a quiet corner to go and sit and get some quiet time. You know, the kids all manage to do it. As we said, we have three introverts, and Mom is an introvert herself, so that's four. You know, Mom and I always have our room. However, the kids always manage to get off somewhere and get some quiet time just to themselves whenever they need it. So, you know.
And the good thing is that the other children recognize what it is, and they respect their boundaries
Right.
and not try and go and intrude. Or,
Right.
you know, they ask permission, is it okay now? And it's either yes or no, and they just respect each other.
I mean, obviously, you know, the boys share a room. They're of an age, and so on and so forth, and they share a room. So, I mean, Justice and Ryder being best buds. And, you know, if for instance, if one or the other is in there, and they need some, and just the other day I was saying to, I walked by Ryder in the hallway, and I was like, hey, where's Justice? And he said, oh, he's just doing his thing. And, you know, they have so much mutual respect and understanding for one another when it comes to just honoring each other's space, and just the idea that, hey, I just need some me time right now. And that is not coincidental. That is something that we taught them. We encouraged them to be mindful and respectful of that, and to honor each other's. I mean, you know, the lessons are very consistent in the home. Is that, you know, to be good, godly, and kind. To be kind and decent. I mean, speak your truth. Yes, absolutely. However, temper your truth with kindness. Temper your truth with kindness. I mean, it's never the message. However, it is the delivery.
And the thing is, that it has to be your truth, not somebody else's truth. That's what we're trying to encourage. Is not like, oh, well, somebody said this, so I'm going to go with this. No, you need to, what did you see? What did you feel? What did, you know, it's just getting them to realize their own feelings instead of what other people feel.
Right.
And I've seen such huge growth on all of them that they're able to say, hey, this is how I feel. This
Words.
is what I've seen. This is, yeah.
Words.
So the words matter.
So important. That communication piece. Right? So again, we would encourage you, I mean, answer the phone. Your friends and loved ones, they're checking up on you, you know, they're calling, and, you know, you're sitting there, and maybe I'm sitting there eating some Doritos in my PJs, wearing my bunny ear slippers, and oh no, and worse, oh, the phone is all the way over there. I left it on the coffee table, and I'm on the couch with the remote control, and Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
And it does speak. It does speak.
It does show.
It does show.
The
Okay.
notifications. Yeah, thank you so much. We greatly do appreciate your support. And so answer the phone. Pick up the phone and check in with your loved ones. And if you are a loved one who is concerned, a friend or a family member who's concerned for, like, it's never a bad time to check up and to check in and to just make a phone call to make sure that that person is all right and that they're not isolating. And I mean, for those that are calling, and even though you're not getting any answer, I encourage you to keep calling.
Not right away, but
right, yeah.
Give it a couple minutes or a half hour. But
just answer the damn phone. No, what I mean.
Sorry, a little bit of humor there.
I encourage you to keep doing that godly work. Continue to call. Continue to check in on your friends. Continue to check in on your loved ones. Continue to check in on your neighbors. Continue to inquire on the mental health of the people that are important in your life. And when they I will say this from personal experience. If someone is opening up, and if you are fortunate enough to have someone open up to speak with you about something that is bothering them, I would suggest that we honor the fact that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, and we will listen twice and speak once, if at all. A lot of times, someone just needs an ear.
They want comfort, not a solution.
Oh, We should write that down. That's good. They want comfort, not a solution. From personal, my lived experience. I mean,
I'm learned.
yeah, I mean, I have to be allowed to get there on my own. A lot of times I'm just working it out in my head. I might go for a run, I might go for a walk, or I might just be silent for a great long time, and all I'm doing is just working it out in my head. And a great many times I bring her in on it. And go ahead, sweet dog. Go ahead, finish that thought for me, please.
No, I didn't even. I was trying to do what you were doing.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my dear. And what was my thought? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you get lost in your head.
Right, and so and we just have to work it out. So a lot of times, thank you. A lot of times, if someone is going to confide in you, if you want them to continue to confide in them, just offer a friendly ear, and it doesn't have to be followed up by advice. Just an ear, oftentimes, is enough, and so. I have a response that many people out there are lonely there because of the lifestyle of the USA. I live in Morocco. We don't have this issue. Expand on that for me, please, because I mean, lifestyle choices being what they are, and I mean, it's hard to maybe sometimes understand how one can feel all alone in a world full of 7 billion people. However, trauma, depression, addiction, things like that will do that for you. You know what I mean? And then if we're talking in terms of addiction, speaking from my own lived experience, no one wants to. So I feel bad. Here's a cycle, right? I feel bad. Right, something happens and I feel bad. I don't want to feel that way, so I self-medicate, and in the moment, I don't no longer feel bad. Right, I know, right? I no longer feel bad in the moment. However, once I'm done self-medicating, and I come down off that high, all of a sudden, guess what? I feel bad again. Nobody wants to feel bad, so I medicate. Right, and it's just a vicious cycle. And then that behavior, when you're caught in that cycle. No way, no how do you want to be really socializing or kind of really even hanging out. A lot of times, you tend to want to isolate.
And from not my experience with addiction, because it's
you have none, other than from the perspective of the partner.
Yeah.
So you do have lived experience with addiction. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Words matter. Excuse me. My apologies, my love.
No, and that's it. It's like also the in our traditional custom, from what I remember growing up, is that when somebody is using alcohol, drugs, whatever, and then they come down, they're hungover. They're saying that because when they're putting those toxins into their body, their spirit has left their body.
Okay.
So when they're hungover, their spirit is still not there. And then they become lonely. They're lonely. So it's like that shame, loneliness. So they're saying, "Oh, I miss my kids." However, it's not really you're missing your kids. You're actually missing your spirit, because there's a disconnect between your physical self and your spiritual self, because you've created this rift.
Barrier. With the drugs, the addiction. Right. So now you've lost connection.
Yeah. So and that's just another perspective too. Yeah.
So I mean, we cannot overstate, and I mean, we have here. It says that in Sweden, people choose not to talk to each other at all, and
I think that's to each their own.
For me, that would be very difficult.
Yeah.
For me,
it depends on also, because we have to look at cultural differences.
Yes.
We're not sure of what the culture is in Sweden.
Right. Right.
So that's what I'm learning quite a bit about, is that the cultural differences, Western ideology, indigenous culture. Then you have East Indian culture here. Right. You have, because we live in a very
secular is a word I would use.
Yeah. We live in a community with a lot of East Indians, so it's like I'm trying to look at their culture and how they do things and trying to make sense of the world. Like, it's like just to gain understanding. So I'm not sure of, the Swedish culture.
But that's an excellent point, because maybe that is a cultural thing, and maybe that is the accepted norm. I mean, I'm Jamaican, right? So we're very loquacious people, right? You know, it's not a big deal to talk to a complete stranger. However, I mean, that may have changed, because it's been a great long time since I was there, so that may have changed. And, you know, the ebb and flow of societal norms are continually being...
And societal influences, because now you have these things. And like, look at kids nowadays, they don't even speak to one another sitting in a room. They're all with their heads in their phone. They don't know how to hold a conversation. So again, you know, they feel all alone. This is keeping them connected to the world. However, that connection still doesn't fulfill that, you know, that
need for fellowship. Like, I mean, because if you know, we were created for fellowship first with God, then with each other. And I mean, now we've got that intermediary, if you would. We've got the go-between. And so now, yeah, and it's so interesting that they call it FaceTime, because we no longer, in a great many senses, possess the ability to effectively communicate in person. Right? It's
and
outside of a lot of people's comfort zone.
Yeah, and I think I touched on this maybe about a year ago. Even with technology, yes, it's great for, you know, reaching out to people, and however, it's also created this out when you make plans. So
an easy out.
It's an easy out. Yes.
Right. You no longer have to commit or stay
true to your word. Hold your word. Like word has. Oh my gosh, I'm just losing my, when you give somebody your word, baby, you use that all the time. That's where I'm trying to go.
Where you say you give your word I say word is bond, but that's
yeah.
Okay.
That's
okay.
So if I tell you I'm going to go somewhere with you, well, I've got to follow through with that.
Accountability. Right. So, I mean, in that regard, then it's fair to say that technology has made it easier for us to isolate.
Yeah, it's like that double-edged sword, right? Like, yeah, you can reach out to people. However, it also gives you a way out of not having to meet up with people. Yeah. I kind of went the opposite way here. Sorry.
No, that's
not. It's just, yeah. It's
the conversation goes where the conversation goes, right?
Yeah.
It's all relevant. It's all relevant. And again, I would just want to encourage those of us who are possibly battling addiction, those of us who are possibly battling depression, those of us who, you know, find it tough to get out of bed in the morning. Right? I mean, that's a very real thing. That's a very real issue in these times. I mean, quite honestly, we don't even really have to get out of bed anymore. We go to school remotely, working from home remotely.
Yeah, I think pajamas is my new wardrobe for the last, I don't know how many months.
That's not true. Stop.
No, it actually, because as soon as, like, if I am even just, okay, well, I'm going to, you know, dress up for the day, whatever, just kind of change it up. The kids will be like, "Where are you going, Mom?"
That's true. Actually, that is actually a thing.
Yeah.
Actually a thing. So, however, for us, like, I mean, the kids all go to school remotely and things like that. For us, it's not a roll out of bed and sit in front of the computer type of event. You know, we stay very active. We are a very structured family. We, you know, from A to Z, 1 through 10, we keep the children engaged. And so, you know, as the saying goes, idle hands. They do have their free time. However, when it's time to be in school, they're required to be in school. They're required to be present. They're required to get up,
get ready for the
day, as if you know, get up and get ready for the day as if you were going to school. Even though going to school nowadays only means coming to the dining room table, you know, we're dressed, our hair is combed, we're
Teeth are brushed.
Teeth are brushed, faces washed. We're dressed for the day. So I think that in doing those things, it allows them to maintain some sort of a routine, some semblance of order, and it gives them some control over what might otherwise be an out of control situation where they might be feeling somewhat powerless. And, it is so easy under these circumstances to slip into feelings of depression, and then to isolate, to want to isolate. And, we cannot stress that enough, is just to reach out. And if reaching out means reaching out to us, if you're unsafe, reach out to us. We'll find the resources that you require. We'll use our own time and our own resources to find those resources for you and get that information back to you. Absolutely, reach out. You are not alone in this. You're not alone in this world. You're not alone in your trauma. You're not alone in your addiction. You're not alone in your situation, in your circumstance. Right? And I don't think that I can overstate that enough, because when we start to feel that we are alone, that's when despair sets in.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you want to add to that, sweetheart?
Okay.
All right. So yeah, we're gonna wrap there, and we'll be back. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time. You're over here, sweetheart. I'm over here.